Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of Day 4 with the man Frank SCALISH.
What's up, guys?
I didn't look and see what number it was before I went live. 213.
213.
Show 213, back after a week-long hiatus. I was at the Bassmaster Open on Leech Lake. Perhaps some lessons learned there that I would like to run by you later in the show. Congratulations. 2 weeks ago when we were on, they were just a couple days away from, was it the XCS square bills that you had the three colors coming out in?
Yeah.
That lasted a couple hours.
Yeah, it did. That's wild. That's pretty good. Those colors were spot on, though. They were so spot on. I mean, it excites me when that happens because I put a lot of detail into things, and those were they did such a good job on those colors.
Yeah, very cool. We're actually going to talk about that today. We were going to talk about it 2 weeks ago. Then the show kind of, as it often does, kind of veered off to the left and we ended up down a rabbit hole. But you had some solid colors in that. And then you had a couple that were like kind of translucent-y to where there was still a lot of color to them. But if you held it up, you could see through the bait. And that kind of, I think we're going to hoe that row.
We are going
today.
Down. We're hoeing the row. So here's the notes for today.
Zero notes.
Just letting you guys know that there are times when.
But we are going to talk about when to go translucent, when to go something that is that is completely solid.
Yes, and actually, I have a rule of thumb for it. And I've got some new colors coming out because I needed to meld both worlds together, because there are times when you need a little bit of solidness and a little bit of transparency. And so I created there's a whole line of colors coming out this year, and they will be the mix of both worlds. And I'll show you some of the colors, but I got some old school colors that I want to talk about too, that are available regularly, all the time. Mm-hmm. And there's reasons for it.
Now,
so, go ahead.
You won the Angler of the Year in the Northern Opens in 2005.
Yes, I did.
Yes. Currently,
as 2010.
2005, you went 7th, 4th, and 35th.
Yeah, I think I finished 4th. Or 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a
2009 Northern Opens. You went 3rd, 2nd, 3rd.
Yes.
Now, as we're recording this currently live over on the Mississippi River, pools, I think 7, 8, and 9 out of La Crosse, Wisconsin, you have Trey McKinney and Chris Johnston, who are tied for the Angler of the Year lead going into the final event. Mm-hmm. You've been in that situation before out of Sandusky in 2009, where you were like, hey, and I think there's probably a $10,000 cash prize that went with Angler of the Year and a spot in the Classic that went along with that. It was big back then in 2009. I remember. I think that I 100% know you made the Classic through that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I made the Classic through the points.
Okay.
But I would have made the Classic. You make the Classic if you're Angler of the Year, you're making it through the points.
Yeah. But walk through.
I
just want you to walk through like what those guys are going through, because you've been in it at a very high level for an Angler of the Year. When you go out with just a couple days left and all the marbles, and you've got 100+ guys behind you, and you're either going to leave with heartbreak or joy, I would imagine.
Yeah, that actually happened to me 3 times. And 2 of the times were heartbroken. So listen, so here's the deal. So that tournament was very bizarre because the points were shaken out, and as I recall, the points were shaken out where all I had to do is catch 1 bass and I make the Classic through the points. I had a pretty nominal lead in the points race to win the points. If I caught 5 fish in 3 days, I win the points too. I win Angler of the Year too. And my initial play I was sitting at home and I said, you know what? I'm just going to run to East Harbor and catch 5 fish and call it a season. And man, that didn't sit with me good at all. I said, no, I got to go try to win this thing. I can't take an easy road out. You know what I mean? I just couldn't do it. So I really practiced hard, got on good fish and legitimately put myself in a position to win the event, and everything else. And so when I looked at the points for Angler of the Year, I forget who could catch me. Now I forget who could catch me, but he was far enough behind me where all I needed to do is just not stumble, and he needed not to really crack him. So I was pretty safe going in on it, and I had a good first day, and I knew after that there was no way on earth that I wasn't gonna take home Angler of the Year. And
there it is, right there.
There it is.
That's you launching. That's the whole family right in there.
Yeah,
Which one is that? Frankie right there?
No, the guy on the far left is Ray.
Okay.
Rachel's next to him.
Yep.
That could be Josh.
I was thinking Josh because he's already kind of started to go with the hair there.
Yeah, and Frankie's the SCALISH, the big guy next to that little.
That's Frankie?
Yeah, that's Frankie.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and so I had a bunch of jerseys. This is so funny. I had a bunch of jerseys, and I just thought it would be, and I knew OSI was going to be at that event.
Yep.
And so I had a bunch of jerseys, and I just gave them to everyone. I had like 14 or 15 people in there wearing SCALISH jerseys.
I like it.
It was funny, man.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. If you have the audio, do you have the audio on that weigh-in?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. Because if you could hear my wife screaming in the background, dude, like a maniac screaming. It was wild. But yeah, so it's a you can't, when you're out there fishing, you can't think about the point race. All you have to worry about is catching one bass at a time. Because if you start taking yourself out of actually catching a fish, you may miss a clue, you may miss a bass, you may be late on one. And so you really want to focus on catching those fish. That's kind of really how I played that event, to be honest with you. I didn't care. I got nervous the night before because everyone was bringing it up. And so I got really nervous the night before. And like I said, I was going to play it safe. And I decided that I never do that ever. I always fish to win. So I'm not going to change my game plan or my strategy. And that's pretty much how that one went down. It was very memorable, actually.
Very cool. Man, there were some names that fished this.
Yeah, dude, we had a heavy
I mean, there you are right there. You're weighing in. There's Ike. There's Arkansas, Mayflower, Arkansas's Billy McKegren.
Yeah.
In the back right there. Very cool.
Yeah, it was a good event, man. It was really good.
I would imagine you remember pretty much every cast in that when you've got the Angler of the Year and all that stuff on the line.
It's a blur now, but it happens. So it happens. It's so surreal when it happens. Because there's so much at the venue. Like, you're going to make the classic, Angler of the Year, plus the weigh-in, plus your buddies that, like Jonathan and all the guys that I fished against that I was tight with. You just get in the moment and everything becomes really fuzzy. And then when all the dust settles, you're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, I did it.
Yeah.
And that's really how it was, and I had shallow fish going and I had deep fish going, and it saved my ass because we had a northeast wind and the shallow fish vacated. And so I went to the deep fish and they stayed put, but they left the structure. And here's the crazy thing with smallmouth, okay? Current dictates how they're going to relate to glacier grooves, deposits, rock piles, etc. And the current on Lake Erie flows from west to east. So it goes from the Detroit River to the Niagara River.
Mhm.
And so with the east wind, when you have an east wind, it stalls the current. And so the smallies will, at times, they'll suspend off of the structure and get away from it because they don't have to use the structure for current or anything. And so they'll get off of it. And that's what happened to the deep fish. They got off the structure, and we didn't have live scope, or I didn't have live scope then. And,
no one did. That was 15 years before live scope.
Right. And so what happened was I went to the structure and I wasn't getting bites. And I started to kind of get in my head a little bit. And then I caught one and I went to re-rig the drop shot, and I had drifted off the structure a ways, probably 30 yards off the structure. And my non-boater connected with a big one. And I went, oh my God, they're out here. And so then I got on the trolling motor and I started monkeying around out there, and I can see them on my 2D screen. And I would drop down on top of them and catch them. And they were suspending out in the middle of nowhere. Same depth as the top of the structure, but just way away from it. And so once I figured out where they were out there, we just milled around out there and plastered them, dude. We plastered them. It was a really good tournament. So if I was focused more on, oh my gosh, I'm not going to catch them, oh my gosh, angler of the year, I would have never focused enough to get to find them away from the structure. You know what I mean? I just wouldn't have. And so that was kind of that. My main focus was just catching them. And then after the first day of the event, my main focus was winning the damn thing. That's really what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I shot myself in the foot on that one, because the first day of the event, I did not take advantage of the bite I was on. I caught 6 fish and left it.
I remember you saying that, and then you went back the next day and it was all gassed out, and they didn't even get on them. I at Leech last week was the first time. The biggest cliche in fishing is the guy who's not on crap and I went out there and I fished to win. I swung for the fence, and I came in with 2 12-inchers.
Yeah, that ain't swinging for the
fence.
But
I legitimately at Leech this past week was one of the. You have to have a scenario to, in my opinion, when you're in the opens right now fishing for a EQs or points, you have to make business decisions, is what I call them on the water a lot. And I was out of it in the points heading into it. As a fisher, I had top 10 last year. I feel like, and then after practice, I knew it was like one of the first tournaments that I was 100%. I was dedicated to fishing to give myself an opportunity to win that event, because it didn't matter. I couldn't move up in the points. The only thing I could do was make money, win the tournament, get in the classic. It looked like everything set up, but it's a unique feeling when everything comes together and you're doing the right thing with the possibility to win as long as you execute and things go right for you.
Right.
It's a badass feeling. I've had it, in the last 6 years that I fished it, I think I've had it 4 times.
Yeah. It's
and I've had it like once in back-to-back events, but even then I was still kind of fishing for points because I was trying to make the Toyota Championship back then. And then one of the other times I was in the points for the EQs or for the opens to make the Elite Series at the time, but I was so far out of it this time. It's like such a cool, stress-free feeling. And then I got 2 bites away on that final day because it was shortened. And, I was like, man, I catch 2 4-pounders in the final 4 hours of the tournament, and I've got a 50% chance of going to the Bassmaster Classic. It was a cool feeling.
It's great. It's exciting as could be. So what did you do? I mean, what was the story?
It was a largemouth versus smallmouth deal. So last year when I went there, I wasted a day and a half trying to find smallmouth, which I was out of it in the points then. But to me, that wasn't my strength. And I feel like I understood the smallmouth where they were. It was obviously one on smallmouth last year. You have the opportunity to catch bigger fish, but they're tricky to catch because once you catch them, you can't catch them. So you have pressure, all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So my theory was spend time finding isolated boulders that they live on, but realizing that those are only viable options for the first hour of each morning of the tournament.
Holy crap.
Because once someone else has fished it, he's going to catch the fish off of that. Right. And they're not going to be there anymore.
Right. So it was more like individuals.
It was 100%. I feel like they owned that boulder and they did not like anything that came around it. But, if you start running that stuff, and I did this last year, I ran it for 6 hours and didn't catch anything on day one and came in with 4, those have already been hit. So my thought was I needed to focus on areas that had a population of fish, but also had enough targets to where even if there were a bunch of guys fishing it, you could maximize overlook targets. Gotcha. So a fish that's on a boulder that's 5 foot tall, where there's an 8 foot tall boulder 30 foot away that everybody goes, that's the money boulder, but they don't cast to the 5 foot tall boulder because they could see. It's like kind of what you're talking about on breaking down a laydown, right?
Oh, yeah.
There could be a strike zone, but if there's a really juicy spot, but it could be that adjacent spot that those fish are set up. So I found that area on the first day, found a reaction bite to get them to bite on a jig to where I could boat flip all of them on 20-pound string.
Oh, my God.
And then and was in, I think I was in 25th after day one with 19.2, but 22 was leading it. So I was 2 pounds, 15 ounces back, which on a lake that multiple 25 plus pound bags came in last year. So day 2 was just rough as hell. I mean, rough. Like there's a little canal that you run through and you go out. And I mean, I'm in the middle of the lake, and in front of me is an angler in the open in a tracker with an 80.
Oh, good Lord.
And we're going through this little canal, and it's probably 500 yards long. It's big lake, goes through the canal, pops out in big lake, right? Yeah. So you go in, I mean, it's glass column, and I look up ahead at the opening up in front of me, and it's like 2 foot higher than we are in the canal. You ever seen that where there's so much water getting like pushed into a cove or something because of the wind and residual wind where the water temperature actually rises? The water temperature actually rose. So I think Frank froze. I've never seen Frank freeze before. Or 213 in. He looks very interested still though. Anyway, I'll tell the story. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe his internet went down. But the water was higher, so I come out and it's like 3 to 5 footers. And fortunately, the angler in front of me turned around that was in the boat. But I end up going out in the middle of the lake. It was supposed to take me 11 minutes because I had an early boat draw on day 2, and it ended up taking 42 minutes to get out there. And there were, we'll see what Frank said here. There were 3 to 5 footers that I was battling trying to cast that jig. And I caught one right off the first bat. That was about a 4-pounder. And then I went an hour without a bite. And then I caught another 4-pounder. And then I went another hour without a bite. And then I hooked one probably like 80 feet out, and I wasn't able to see these fish on live scope at all. I was just able to tell like kind of where the rock was that I was wanting to cast because I was going with the wind, and fired out, hooked one, and it came up and boiled, and I was like, oh, that's like a pretty decent fish. So I'm cranking it, 20-pound string, 7.3 medium heavy rod, softer tip so I could get that jig kind of buried. This is that little Beast Coast finesse sniper jig with little net on the back. And it comes by the boat, and I didn't really realize how big it was because of how rough the waves and wind were. And I just rolled it into the side of the boat, and it was like a 4 3/4 pounder. So I was like, holy cow, I'm 2 bites away. And there are just a couple other boats that stayed out there the whole day like that. And then I went 4 hours and never saw another fish of that caliber at all. So I ended up catching one that was like right at 2, just like a 13.5, 14-inch fish with about 2 hours left. That gave me 4 for, I think I had 14.10 on 4 on the second day. And then ironically, I ended up finishing in 25th. So, one more 3-pounder, even 2.5 puts me in the top 10, and one more good one puts me right up there. And then the 2 more bites. But I had Laker Howell on, and when we get Frank back on, he had to reboot his system here. He just texted me he had to reboot his system. But when we get Frank back on, I'd like to ask him. Here he is. You back?
I think so.
Your system just crash?
Oh yeah. Dude,
that's wild.
We're having a little storm issue, and all of a sudden my computer screen went haywire and blue and then gone.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just talking about how, and I talked to you a little bit about it off air, about how I only got 4 bites on the second day, but got 3 of the right bites early. And when it was all said and done, it ended up being a strategy deal because Laker Howell won on a frog about as far away from the smallmouth water as you could actually get. But it's also, I think that's interesting is to decide. There's very few fisheries, but up north where you live, we've seen Ish come in on St. Clair with almost a 25-pound bag of largemouth in a Bassmaster Open before. It's interesting, like the gamble to stay out on the smallmouth didn't pay off, but the gamble, which was equally as risky, to put your life in the hands of 5 largemouth, and you caught a 5 on a frog right off the bat, paid off. I'm curious, like when you're fishing up north where you have big largemouth and big smallmouth, Frank, how do you determine, like there's times where smallmouth are going to, especially in one dayers, a lot of our listeners fish 1-day tournaments, which make the largemouth more viable, but an Oneida, a St. Clair, a Champlain, a Leech, how do you determine whether you are going to target largemouth or smallmouth, especially if you're a versatile angler like you, who loves catching largemouth, but also loves targeting smallmouth? Is there a determining factor for you when you're heading to the lake?
Yeah, 100%. So for Oneida, I never fish for largemouth on the lake. There's too many smallmouth to ignore. Champlain, I never intentionally fish for largemouth on Champlain. I only chase smallmouth. The tournament, the year that I won Angler of the Year, I took second at Champlain. I was winning it. I had no chance to lose it. The guy that actually caught me was far behind, and he, on the last day, he went largemouth fishing and he crushed them. I think he weighed 24, 25 pounds or some ungodly amount of weight. And he beat me by, I think, 1.5 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong by several ounces, but it was close. There was no way theoretically I should have lost that event. And he did really good. He was like way down in the pack, like 29th or 30th after the second day. And he kicked my ass on the last day, dude. But I was catching a mixed bag of fish because the smallmouth that I was on were flipping fish. They were in the grass, and they were 6 to 8 feet deep in the grass. So I didn't know if I was going to catch a 4-pound largemouth or a 4-pound smallmouth, when I would flip in there. So I had a mixed bag. That was the only time I've ever fished the lake with a mixed bag. All the other times have been straight smallmouth, 100%, not even bothering with the largemouth. And I think I got a 7th, 2/8, a 2nd, and then a shit finish.
Yeah, Clay's talking about the same thing. He said he's seen spotted bass win derbies on Allen Henry. That's a huge largemouth country. So it's an interesting dynamic. You could do spots and stuff like that too. Like at Cumberland is a deal like that. Table Rock, Bull Shoals, Norman. Yep. There's a bunch of those different lakes where you have to kind of make a decision or a risky decision. Spots and largemouth, or just largemouth, just spots, smallmouth, and
like honestly, I don't think if I was in your position, I wouldn't have played Leech any differently. To be honest with you, because here's the thing, okay? For you to go into an area and have all 4-pound largemouth. It's not impossible by any stretch, but you need a lot of water to do it, and you need to really find the winning fish.
Mm-hmm.
With smallmouth, when you're fishing for smallmouth, if you're catching, let's say 315s to 410s, most of the ones you catch are going to be within that range.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little more predictable weight wise. So if the lake fishery is a predominant smallmouth fishery, I'm always going after the smallmouth. And if the lake I'm on is a predominantly spotted bass fishery, I'm always going after the spots unless it's not known for big spotted bass. Then I'm going to use the spotted bass to fill a limit while I'm chasing largemouth. But for the most part, all these northern fisheries with smallmouth in them, I'm chasing the smallmouth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even pay attention to the largemouth. Unless I get on something in practice, like at Champlain that one day, where I was catching them mixed. Then I was like, ooh, this could be good. And I actually had a 5/8 largemouth staked out in a little piece of cabbage grass around milfoil. And I had them in practice. I didn't hook it. I had them in practice. And I literally went back there in the tournament and I told my non-boater, I'm going to catch this fish. It's going to be 5/8. And I pitched in there and boom, got it, threw it in the boat. It was like 5/8. And he's like, holy crap, I can't believe it. And I go, yeah, I didn't hook it in practice because I that's a big fish and I need that. So I saved it. And I went and got him on the last day. And, dude, I thought I had that thing won, man. I was despondent. I mean, I was happy to take second, but when that dude weighed in that bag of fish and he weighed in after me,
Mm-hmm.
I just went, when he picked that bag up, you know how it is, Matt, when they pick
yeah.
the bag up and it looks
Yeah.
like they're growing as he's walking to the scales. He picked that bag up. I went, oh, good God Almighty. And he beat me.
Did you see what Austin Cranford posted on Leech? So I was like keeping up with him. I knew he was going to smash him too. I'm going to show this video. It's just on Instagram, no audio. Watch this. This is disgusting. It's like a 5-pounder.
Hold it right there. Right there. You got to go in for that one, bro. Did he get it?
Nope. Came off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'll see if I can do it better this time. There we go.
Up. There you go. Perfect. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious.
And he weighed in a 2 3/4 on that day too. Like a 5.5.
Dude, that's a game-changing bass right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was wild.
That's spectacular, actually.
Did you,
that is so
yeah,
good.
let's show it. So we're on the verge, folks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do this.
Of the new BTL Frank Scalish Signature Series clothing drop. Stay tuned. We got a couple more tweaks, but we're probably less than a couple weeks away from this thing. Couple new colors, and we are going with the one-of-a-kind Signature Series Frank Scalish Smalley.
It's appropriate after we just talked about.
Yeah. But that is kind of like a one-off drop right there, a little bit lighter shirt there. We're doing it in the black. This is the shirt that I'm wearing right now. Oh boy, I guess I need to for the sake of the show. I'm unfortunately 6 foot 190, and
outstanding.
And this is a large that has been washed probably 10 times.
I don't know. I don't do your laundry.
Yeah, no, it's probably been washed 10 times, and fits perfect. Collar's still around. It's like $5 extra for this shirt. So these are the same shirts that we're going with.
Yeah, so I wear the crap out of mine, and I wash them all the time, and they're still perfect. The collars aren't all boogered up, and it still fits good. The shirt is what you want in a tee, man.
Yep.
It is quality.
I just almost gave it away. So we do have, and we're going to change one of these colors. We do have, it is a done deal, the structural element
Outstanding.
SCALISH. This is the signature piece of the drop. You can see clearly here the structural element right there with all of the contour lines behind it, the BTL Frank SCALISH, same t-shirt as before. And I think we're going to do it in this green up here as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But there you go. There's the structural element BTL, one of a kind Frank SCALISH drop.
I love
If you
that.
guys like the blue, let me know. It's like whatever that kind of color is. I've just never been like a aqua shirt kind of guy. That's just me though.
I don't know. I don't think the structural element pops on that shirt.
I agree. It pops on the gray shirt though. I love that gray shirt.
Me too. I'm totally down for that. I wish I had him right
now.
Dude,
this shirt's like a year and a half in the making.
Yeah, I wish we had him right now. I mean, I'm a structure guy. You guys know that by now.
We might keep it just for Chuck because he said he needs the blue to go with this boat. All right. I got back into golf, so this is a selfish drop. I don't have any BTL polos. I know we've got some classy individuals. We've got some lawyers. You might want to wear this in the courtroom. We've got some insurance guys. We've got a bunch of guys who have to get dressed up and like to go golfing. So
I love the golf shirt, man.
Sport Tech golf shirt in the gray and the black primarily, I think. So
yeah,
I've never offered a classy BTL offering before. So
I'm gonna be all in on that black shirt.
Yeah. And we're going to that in case you ever have to go to like traffic court or something like that.
in case I forget where the podcast is.
Clay said, "Is that the contour lines inside the lettering on structural element?" Yes.
Yes.
Those are actual contour lines. Here, we'll zoom in even closer on it and show you guys.
Yeah.
So you can see there it is, 12 foot, 10 foot.
You see the hump where the E and the M
right
are?
Here. That's a high spot right there that drops off into 14 feet on the side.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It's got a nice inside swing on the right side of the M.
Yeah, that was 100%. I was like, we need to do a structural element, and then Frank came up with that and sent the mock drawing and was like, dude, that's a can't miss. So we got that. We got the polos. That's just that. Now, these are the other changes. We'll just talk about this. So I know you're a Browns guy when it's cold out. These are the high-end hoodies. I think they're like probably $50, $60 hoodies, Frank. They're not the cheaper $39 ones. I don't care if you guys want something. The older I get, the more I'm willing to spend on it. This kind of brown one with that fish. Aside also with the BTL, but I think that with the Frank SCALISH fish on it would be maybe the signature piece of the drop.
Yeah, dude, I love that hoodie.
Yeah, some other BTL shirts. We also have just the standard black and green too, but that hoodie, that's the new BTL hoodie there. But I'm gonna try to have him do that. So the only two changes are that with the fish, and then change one of the structural element colors.
Perfect.
And then these are the patches that we bought. So these are 100. We only have 100 of these patches. So there's 100 hats. But
they'll have their choice of hats, right?
Yeah. These are just some of the different options. I love that one right there.
Yeah, I'm on that hat.
That is the hold on.
I'm so all over that hat right there, man.
That is the Pacific Pro Model 104 BR. So like it's like not a Richardson 112, but it's like the kind of mixture in between that and a more rounded hat like that, but also doesn't make your ears stick out when you wear it.
Yeah, it's more rounded.
I don't know if we can get it. So these are like called Umpqua hats below here. This is probably boring to people, but this is how stuff gets done.
It's the only way it gets
done.
But
this hat that I have is a branded Bills hat and I got this in Minnesota at the Wilderness. But I am going to check and see if we can get that branded bills, because it's kind of got like a little bit of mesh in the back of it. It's structured, but not really. It's got the flex fit inside with the deal on the back.
That's what I mean.
That's a money hat. Like it's a comfortable hat. That's a perforated summer style cap. Yes,
I need a hat like that because of my chrome dome, baby.
Yeah. Yep. But that's that logo. So, that's a patch like the old. So like I had to buy these. These are like the old BTL logo hats. Like I'm out of patches, so these don't exist anymore. But see how it's like the patch that's
yeah.
That's cool. That's how yours is.
Outstanding.
On that, like that patch style.
Love it.
And then I went ahead and did some rubber patch, and this is that same. So this is like a raised rubber patch hat. There's also just 100 of these for BTL, and that's just something that I wanted. So there's the drop.
They look good, man. They look good. When will we know? When will the drop be?
This week we should have it 100% finalized, because I went through with Catherine from ATS Printing a couple days ago and spent about an hour with her just tweaking and working on stuff. Perfect. So I'm not kidding though. I feel like this is not just, I feel like this shirt, Frank, is not like buy a Frank SCALISH shirt or whatever. Like to me, that looks like a merchandise line. Like that. That's got some legs on it.
I just got to have the smallmouth.
No, it looks really good. And I love that on the smallmouth, you put the little bump on the head to signify that it's over 4.5 pounds.
Exactly, dude. You have to. Otherwise, it looks like a streamfish.
Otherwise, it looks like a rock bass.
Yeah, you got to have the bump.
Speaking of which, you raised some eyebrows when you talked about the table fare of the freshwater drum. So a couple weeks ago, remember when you were talking about a drum or edible?
I do.
So at Leech, I texted Hank, who's the tournament director, and I said, Hank, I said, there's a line in the rules that says you cannot live well fish without tournament director's permission. So it doesn't specify what species. So I messaged him and said, hey, can I keep some walleye, keep some perch, legal, whatever to eat during practice? He said, yeah, I don't care. So I got on these boulders with a dice, and I started catching, magnum rock bass.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Like 13 and a half, 14-inch rock bass. Like probably pound and a quarter rock bass, Frank. I've got to have a picture of them. I know I took a picture of one. It looks just like a bass.
So I think I know where you're going with this.
Where am I? I kept a couple rock bass.
Table fare.
I kept 5 rock bass because I didn't know what the limit on rock bass was. So I thought, well, it's probably 5. It ended up, you could keep whatever you wanted. Look at the size of that rock bass.
Oh, yeah, dude. Those are eaters, man. Those
are
eaters.
So good.
Oh, yeah.
So good. Like you get hardly any meat off of them just because of how big their rib cage is and their bone line in it. But the meat is between a perch and a walleye. It's sweet like a bluegill.
Yeah.
And I beer battered them, and they were the hit of the hit of the house.
Yeah, dude. So when Frankie was younger, I used to take him downtown all the time. And when the rock bass would come in numbers during the spawn, and we would throttle them, and they were all gigantic rock bass, and we would bring them home and fillet them up and eat them. They're fabulous.
Clay, that's a good question. I'm going to step off screen really quick, take my shirt off, and let you know exactly what model it is. So chat for 2 seconds here, Frank.
Outstanding. Well, I guess he owes me that, since I bailed on him earlier in the show, not intentionally. But yeah, going back to the rock bass thing, they readily eat spinner baits and crankbaits and jigs. When you're catching the good ones. Go ahead.
Comfort Colors heavyweight ring spun tee.
Dude, that was so fast, man. You're like a supermodel. Get changed and then you come back with a new outfit.
Yeah. But no, anyway, rock bass. if it is not a gigantic one, not worth your time.
No.
If it's a bluegill size rock bass that you're like, oh, that's a good size rock bass, throw it back. You will not get enough meat. It will frustrate the hell out of you.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
If it's like, damn, that's a big rock bass, and you're keeping fish, box it.
Yeah, because you'll be pleasantly surprised. I mean, we used to eat them all the time. They're good, man. They're good. But it's funny. I mean, you know, Juice has a recipe that I got to get from him. So Juice, if you're listening and watching the show, you need to send me your half shell recipe, like the slurry you make, all of it, because I might go out and catch a couple of big hybrids, stripers and white bass mix. And I want to do them on the half shell. So help a brother out, man. I'm always looking for new things to cook.
Hey, can you jump on BTL and give Frank your half shell recipe? You're on live right now.
I mean, he doesn't have to do it live if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me get out to the boat here.
Okay.
Is he fishing? Is he fishing today?
He might be. I'm gonna send him the link and he can walk us through it. You good with that?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping he'd just write it down for me and send it to me. But okay, I can do it. I could take notes. I have a pen and a big blank sheet of paper.
Well, he'll probably send it to you also too.
Perfect.
While he's getting on, let's actually do a little bit of the fishing, then we'll close it with the recipe with Juice on. So we kind of teased it at the beginning that those 3 XCS colors.
Yeah.
When are you going clear? When are you going can't see through the crankbait?
Okay, so here's my rule of thumb, and here's another thing. This works with soft plastics as well. With soft plastics, I look at the watercolor and I try to match the watercolor. That's kind of a rule of thumb with soft plastics. Now, when the water gets brownish and dingy, tanninish color, then I'm going to go something contrasting, like, you know, a June bug or a black and blue or something to that effect. But most of the time I'm in the green pumpkins and watermelons phases, whether it's, you know, Bama Magic or Magic Cross Swirl, whatever you call it, or green pumpkin blue or watermelon candy. I want some type of flake in it because the darker flake will reflect UV light. They may not see the color. Like everybody says, why do they put black metal flake in watermelon? Well, because the black flake reflects UV light, so they see little flashes, little sparkles. It doesn't necessarily have a color to it, but they can see it. But with crankbaits, if the clearer the water, the more translucent bait I use, which is not a big secret. But there are times in clear water where solid baits work also. And so here, let me show you something really kind of unique here. So this is a Norman deep little end. This is lavender shad, and it's one I fish with, so it's beat to death. But it's lavender shad. It's solid. There's no transparency to it. Normally, this is one of my go-to shad patterns. On any lake I go to, this is a go-to shad pattern. But one of the lakes that I fished got really clean. And I was wishing that I had this bait transparent because they wanted this bait in this lake. But when the water got super clean, I wasn't catching them good on it. So I found, and I don't promote places, but I found a Norman deep little end on Tackle Warehouse that is lavender shad ghost, which is see how it's transparent?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I need that because they'll go off on it. So I went and bought a lot of them, and it was a special run that Norman had done for them. And I literally have a use for it and I needed it. So I bought deep little ends, NXS's DD22s. I bought them all. I didn't buy them all, but I bought a lot
same
of
color. One is just translucent or transparent.
Right,
One of them is
right
yep.
here. You can see the difference.
Yep.
And so because I needed this lavender shad in a bait for cleaner water. And so that's what I did. So in we talk a lot about shad patterns, um, transparent, hot shads, etc. So this is a color that I painted a while back for Norman. I think it's True Gizzard shad.
Okay.
This is solid for the most part. It's got a little tiny bit of transparency, but there's so much pearl on it that it'll read solid in the water. I needed something to be a really good representation. And then the standby is tropical shad and chartreuse and blue. Because there are times when the hot pattern will work in both clean and off-colored water. And so you need it. But this is what I really want to get to. So in here, okay, there's a lot of crap that goes on in there. And I said, I need a bait. I need to start painting colors that you could use either or. Doesn't matter. So I thought about it for a while, and these colors will be coming out sometime this year, and I'm not showing them to you for a pre-sale. I'm showing them to you for the point of transparent versus solid. So I don't even know what I call this one. Ghost shad. So this is transparent, okay, except for the back and the belly. So what this thing is going to do, it's going to give me a solid back and a solid belly. So when it pitches and rolls, it's going to have that solid look to it. It's also going to have that semi-translucent look to it. So I designed this to be fished in basically any water condition. So I made a series of these baits. This is Ghost Herring, same principle. It's semi-transparent on the side, the back is solid, and the belly is solid on it with a lot of pearl. I put a lot of pearl on the belly and a lot of pearls on the back because I want it to reflect different colors in different water conditions. That's the trick with the pearls. And then I decided that I was going to do a bait that was a little more on the solid side. Mainly, I'm appealing to, I want to say smallmouth and spotted bass with this color, but I've already been fishing them and I'm catching everything on it. This one is called Tequila Sunset. It's semi-transparent, but I got the solid back.
That one will last about a half hour.
Yeah, this bait is something.
That'll get sold out instantly. That one's freaking cool. I've never seen a crankbait that color, Frank.
Isn't that slick? And
you're not going to get in trouble for showing that, are you?
I might not. I don't know, but I'm doing it because we're talking about color, and I want the audience to understand.
So that's like a bright translucent.
Yeah. So you get a really it's not really fluorescent, but I did use fluorescent, but I muted it down with pearl, and so it's bright. And then I shadowed the gut bag on it. I shaded it so it really will stand out.
Yeah, you're taking very bold, solid colors and making them translucent.
Correct. And so when I did that one, I said, you know what I got to do? I have to make a real shad one because, you have to have something that looks like the real thing. So then I did, this one is called grayback. And so I did one with the grayback using silver scales on it.
Very
cool. And then pearling the crap out of that. But I did the same thing with the shadowed gut bag and stuff. And so I designed these to be fished in any water condition and any sunlight condition. There's so many different pearls in there. It's going to reflect differently in different water conditions. It's almost going to be chameleon like the color effects ones we did on the Rogues. It's almost going to be like that. But I wanted a bait. I wanted a bait that I could say, okay, I know that if I'm throwing this, it doesn't matter if I'm in a cleaner section of the lake and translate to an off-colored section of the lake. I don't have to keep diving in the box and switching stuff out. The only thing I'm going to recommend anytime you're fishing crankbaits is you have to always carry a hot shad pattern, because there are times when the bass are keying on it, and if you're not throwing it, you're missing out. And so I always have the hot shad colors. You have to. Chartreuse and blue, tropical shad, citrus shad. Always, always, always carry those in your boat with some natural solid patterns and some transparent patterns. That's how you're gonna, that's how you're gonna get that, figure out the crankbait bite. Because like there's times when I'm out there and I'm like, well, they don't seem to be hitting the crankbait. Like the other day I was out and I was throwing a new color that I made, and I was experimenting with it, and I'm like, man, they don't seem to be on it that good. And then I went to a natural perch pattern and busted their brains out. So it wasn't that they weren't on the crankbait, they weren't on that color. And so by making a small change in color got me the bites. Now you have to remember, if you're not catching them on crankbaits, they're probably not eating them. But if you catch one or two on a crankbait, then maybe you need to tweak a color. Either you got to go up the spectrum or down the spectrum to get the color that they're really charged up on. So that's my whole principle with crankbait fishing. The problem with me is I'm addicted to it, and I have probably 6 crankbait boxes in my boat, which is problematic for me, because you can go down the rabbit hole. You know what I mean? You can definitely go down the rabbit hole.
Are there times where you'll, like, let's say they are eating a crankbait? Are there times where you'll notice on a solid color they are hooked better, deeper front hook than when you're throwing one that is translucent?
Yeah.
To where, like, I mean, is that the same thing, like where you're going to go, okay, maybe, if they're slapping at the solid color, maybe getting it outside the head or losing it, then you're going to go to translucent to maybe try to get them to commit more. Or if vice versa is happening on the translucent, you're going to go to the solid to where maybe they can see it better.
Yeah, I got a perfect story for that. So the guy that was in the picture, my buddy Ray, that was in the picture you showed earlier, he came to Pickwick with me one time practicing. And I was fishing a shallow stump field. There was a lot of stumps on it. We were fishing shallow, and I had a Tennessee shad bomber square A on, and I started catching them on it. And exactly like you said, every one I caught was one of the treble hooks. One hook of the treble hook was in his mouth or on the side of his face. And so I dove in the box, I grabbed the chartreuse and blue one out, and I said, Ray, throw the chartreuse and blue one, because I got to see if they're eating it better. And he's like, I'm not throwing chartreuse and blue. I never throw chartreuse and blue. And I said, all right, here, take the Tennessee shad. I'll throw the chartreuse and blue. And they were literally choking on it. Like the entire square bill was in their mouth. And so here, listen, that's a true story. Color matters when you're crankbait fishing. It absolutely matters. And if people tell you that it doesn't, then they don't fish crankbaits, because color matters. And so you could tell by how they're hitting it. Or if you get one and you're fighting him and he comes off before it ever even tries to jump, they're swatting at it. They're not committing to it. And then you change color, and all of a sudden the only thing sticking out of their mouth is part of the bill. That is a color change.
I like it. So no, I mean, at some point in 2026 or 2025, those will be available, or you don't know?
Yeah, sometime they're going to come out sporadically throughout this year and part of next.
I like it.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch. There's a whole nother signature line of colors. I think those are going to start coming out in October. I did a special one for Halloween, which is pretty badass, which I'm not showing you now though.
300 of them?
Yeah, I don't know how much. Yeah, minimum.
No, but 300 in the run.
Yeah, but these ones that I just showed you, these ones will be a limited run, so they'll be available, But yeah, I mean,
I like it.
I got colors hanging up downstairs, dude. I'm like the mad scientist down there. But I like fishing them. I fish them all to see, and then I start to get favorites, and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that.
So you want to know how to make the the half shell, the crappie on the half shell, except translated over to a different species.
Yeah, because I'm going to do it. I got some redfish. I'm going to do it on reds. I want to do it on some hybrids. And of course, I want to do it on the crappies. And then I'll go out and snack a couple walleyes and do it on them. I just want to see how it goes.
All right, there's Juice.
Man, what's up, dude?
Hey, guys. Good morning.
You didn't know you were going to go from master jig tire to Chef Boyardee, did you?
Jared juices jigs, does hand-tied jigs, colorblind, which I find ironic, but does a really good job with them. And also, so, when we got into this crappie thing, we would end up, Juice is an experimenter when it comes to cooking, but has a wide array of cooking options at his disposal, and then came up with this crappie on the half shell recipe. So one of the best shows we've done, Frank, is when you were in the kitchen whipping up some fillets. So I just figured, what the hell? Can you walk us through the crappie on the half shell recipe, Juice?
Yeah. So the key is like anything, the crappie size does matter on this, because like you're wanting that thick. That thick fillet. So you want a minimum of like a 12 to 13 inch crappie. A 14 incher is perfect. Yep. And typically I do like, if depending on how many people you're going to cook for, you've got 2 fillets for one person, basically. That's kind of like the rule of thumb. But instead of filleting it, off the skin, I, just take my electric fillet knife, and then fillet it all the way off, leave the skin on, and then I, separate, put them in a bowl, let them soak in a little bit of, put a little salt in there. It helps get the slime off, and then I take them to the sink, and I've got like a little spray bottle that's got half water, half salt, and then I just kind of mix it up, and then I spray that, and then you just lightly take like a paper towel and just blot it. You don't have to scrub hard to get the slime off. And then,
but that's important, because if you don't, it's weird if you've got the slime on the back. They turn into a rough fish after you get the slime off the back, and then you've got your cooking sheet. But that's the big key: is don't leave. You're leaving the scales on. Gotta get the slime off of the scales. I use like a shoe brush, like a stiffer shoe brush on the back of mine when I do it, like just an old, or like a stiff toothbrush or something like that to get it off.
Right, but the salt, like a salt water mixture, like spraying on there, kind of helps separate it off the scales of the fish, or the backside of the fish. Mm-hmm. So then, like, once you get them, prepared that way, then I just basically lightly based with olive oil, and I make, what I do is I make a Cajun smoked Parmesan crusted crappie. So I use, like, my go-to, like, all around seasoning as a base is garlic pepper, not garlic salt, garlic pepper. A new seasoning that I've been using, in lieu of Tony Chachere's, is the Cajun two-step steel cracker. I bought
big supporter of the Cajun,
the money,
baby.
Dude.
That's money, dude.
Yeah,
that's money.
It's really good. That's what I used the last time, and it turned out great. And you just don't want to over season it. That's kind of critical. But Then after that, I get my smoker. I use a Rectech pellet smoker. And that's the cool thing about the skin on, it creates as a barrier because crappies like, so
Delicate.
yeah, like, and it helps, like, allows you to smoke, and that skin uses as a barrier, for the heat. So I set my smoker at like, depending on the time I have, that's, the more smoky flavor, the better to me. So it at a minimum at like 250. And if you're wanting a quicker cook, 275 max. But 250 is kind of the sweet spot for probably about 45 minutes. And then while that's smoking, I make this mixture. I've got the recipe right here. I pulled it up. I save all my recipes on.
You gotta say, dude, you gotta send me that.
I will. I
Okay.
will. It's kind of similar to that smoked crappie dip. It's just a little bit. It's not as much ingredients, so it's pretty simple. So I take a half a cup of mayo, um, a half a cup of Greek yogurt, and then I take like a quarter block of cream cheese, and then like I kind of heat it up a little bit in the microwave. I just cut it, throw it in a bowl. That way it's easier to mix in with the rest of the ingredients. Then, I usually use about 4 or 5 green onions, and I dice them, the chives and all, and put that in a bowl with the Greek yogurt and the mayo. And then I kind of add the same seasonings uh, that I used on the fish into the mixture of the the kind of the Parmesan crust essentially. So I use, depending on how much you're making, you just kind of figure out like,
Mhm. You're not scaling them. The back of it is just like they came out of the water. It's just the slime coats off because a couple people were saying you scale them, right? No, scales are still on. That's the half
yeah,
shell part.
yeah, that's the half shell part. Um, but like once you get you're smoking it and then you're mixing up and then I use a little bit of Parmesan or not Parmesan, mozzarella. So, um, in the mixture, and then it's just green onions, shredded Parmesan, not grated. Um, then you mix it up, whip it up, and then once you get a good consistency, if you have to add a little bit more mayo, if it's too thick, you know what I mean? It's kind of like I just do it because I never, yeah,
Oh man. Yeah.
that's
I'm
not the half shell one,
It's
but
the same recipe minus the half shell. Do you have any
yeah,
half shell pictures? I couldn't find any. We've got
I'm,
all these
I'm,
pictures, and all it is just steak, jigs, and bass.
I'm on. I do have some on the half shell, but I don't like. I'm on my phone right now on StreamYard,
Yeah, I
so I
got you.
can't do it. Um, but then like about 20 minutes to go in that 45-minute smoke, I take the Parmesan, the shredded parm, that mixture, and then I go add it to the tops of that crappie as it's finishing cook, like it's finishing. And then I let it smoke for 20 minutes just to get a smoky flavor into that cheese mixture. And then, like make sure the crappie's not all the way like there it is. Yeah, that's
nice.
on that's over better rice. Um, but once that, you've got a good smoke and you don't want to overcook crappie, it
Nope.
gets that's key. So like, I just kind of babysit it on the smoker, make sure that it's not getting overcooked. And then, at the end of that 30 to 45 minutes or whatever it's been on the smoker, then I pull it and I throw it in the oven on low broil for about 2.5 minutes, just till I get a golden, that basically that cheese mixture, just kind of browns up a little bit on top and gives you that crusted texture. So, and it's out of this world. So,
Oh, dude, don't think I'm not doing this. I'm gonna go catch a couple of hybrids and do it.
oh yeah, that 100% would be delicious.
Oh
I've
yeah.
done it on striper. Um,
Yeah,
that's
I've done it on Striper too. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. So because when we talked the other day and you were telling me about this, I was losing my mind. I'm like, you know what? I have got to, because I eat a lot of fish. I do a lot. And yeah, just to always eat fried fish is just not, it's just, it gets
It's not
It's
old.
healthy.
tiring. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not healthy either.
No, it's not. It gets old after a while. And
Right.
so like we started grilling and doing all kinds of stuff to the salmon and
There it is. So that's a steak, and that is crappie on the half shell right there.
got it. Oh yeah, that looks banging.
And honestly, like once you pull them from the broiler, you can almost like get a really wide spatula and you can just take, if some people are weirded out with the half shell part, depending on the person, but like you can take, yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like forever, if your wife is,
You can just
See,
slide it right
no,
under the skin; it'll
no,
be
so
separated.
no, because when I met my wife, she never ate wild game or anything.
right.
And then when I met her, she was eating rabbits, deer, antelope, elk, you name it. It was whatever, like frog legs, whatever, squirrel, nothing. She'll whatever, she'll eat it, and she'll eat it. So
I've
she's
got
not.
one.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I've got one more recipe that I want to share with you guys. So, I actually did this on the
Now
Fourth
my
of.
paper's getting full.
So the same thing with the larger crappie fillets. This Fourth of July, we were on Lake Eufaula at my in-laws' lake house, and I caught some pretty nice crappie, and I saved, I don't know, probably six good ones, and I made a blackened crappie. Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
the kind you want right there. See how
Yeah,
thick they are across the
Oh
back?
yeah.
I made a blackened crappie over the top of a bed of rice and crawfish etouffee.
Oh God bless it, dude.
That's legit too. So, but just get you a good like Old Bay's and then your Cajun seasoning and just throw them on a griddle over the stovetop, or if you've got an electric griddle, whatever you have. And that's a really quick, easy way. Now, my wife and I are kind of a team when it comes to the kitchen. So she makes the crawfish etouffee and the roux. So, um, but I've got a buddy of mine that's from Moonshine, Louisiana, that I grew up like my whole career. He's full on Cajun, and he actually has a cookbook, and so I use his crawfish etouffee recipe.
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's pretty darn good. He sells them on PayPal, so they're like $15. But it's
Give
called
me the name of it. I want it.
The Raging Caucasian.
Oh
His name
God, I
is
love it.
Smitty Morvant, Keith Morvant. He's an awesome guy. So
All right, I'm gonna have to get a hold of that.
yeah,
There you go.
I give him all the credit for learning how to cook, like almost like I'm from Louisiana sometimes.
Did you do the crappie nachos, or was that with?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
we do the crappie fish tacos a lot. I got a new crappie recipe where I'm using the irony is I you know how it is when you fry a fish, it's crispy for just a
Mhm.
minute and then it starts to soften up. And I was watching the cooking channel, which is what I do almost every night of my life, and that and sports. Um,
Me too.
And so what happened was they were doing it was a competition. I think it was Tournament of Champions, and they were doing fish, and the chef added white rice flour to all-purpose flour, and said it will remain crispy. And so I said, man, all I got to do is tweak my recipe. So it took me a second to find out the how much of each I needed, but I used a half a cup of all-purpose flour, a half a cup of Bisquick, and a full cup of white rice flour. Of course, I season it. I season the flour, and then, oh my God, dude, they are golden brown. They are super crispy, and it stays crispy.
I'm
And
gonna have to try that.
oh, dude, it's remarkable. And so what I did was when we did fish tacos with them, I sliced the fish in strips and did it that way. And so when you put them in the taco, dude, everything is crunchy. You got the crunch factor and everything, and it's not greasy. You know how it is when you fry the fish and you put them on the screen and the paper towels underneath, and the paper towel's all oily. When you do this, you put them on the screen and the paper towel barely has a drop of oil on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what it does is it seals it, and it doesn't absorb any of the oil. And so I learned that from the cooking channel. And so anyhow, so that's what I started doing. And it's healthier for you because you're not consuming all the oil. And,
right.
You know what I mean? So oh man, it's just banging.
I'll send you also, Frank, my, I've got a kind of like a sweet heat coleslaw to go with your fish tacos.
Oh yeah, dude, I need that.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good. It's not like traditional. I don't even like regular coleslaw, and I just made some for the Lucky Lure Mafia fish fry like last weekend. So yeah, it's like a sweet heat, and you can dial in your heat factor too with it, but I'll email you that too. So
yeah, sweet.
I would be remiss if I did not mention my boy Ryan Pincala from the Crappie Chronicles. Now these are all it's based on crappie that he catch through ice fishing, but he did this book.
Oh,
good
nice.
Ass dude. It's called The Frozen Kitchen. It's available on Amazon, and you know Bart from the Crappie Chronicles and work with St. Jude with him and all that. Pincala's on it, but oh, there they are right there for the Crappie Chronicles. But like crappie rangoon, jalapeno fish poppers, cast iron fish pizza, crappie corn dogs, smoked fish dip, spicy crappie skewers. So
for crying out
if
loud.
y'all are looking for some other additions to it. Now I do not see, like I said, Juices is unique because I don't think anybody fillets a crappie and goes, you know what, sounds awesome, keeping the skin and slime on.
No,
but like you said, once he cleans it off, it literally adds like that redfish striper element to it, that saltwater element to it. That the key is just make sure you just take a real sharp knife and scoop that rib cage out afterwards.
Yeah.
Do a really good job, scoop the rib cage out, and then just V-cut while it's still in the skin. V-cut that line of pin bones out of it, and the whole thing is then completely boneless.
Yeah, I am so absolutely doing that, and I'm doing, dude. So I got redfish. I'm going to do it with the reds. I'm going to go catch walleyes. I'm going to do it with the walleyes, and then I'm going to go catch a couple of hybrids, and I'm going to do it with them because I want to see how the different fish taste with it. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, it's good. And this book, one of them is inspired by me, which I learned from my buddy Jared Miller, who used to fish on the Elite Series. He does, and I do crappie casserole, and Pincala kind of altered it to Buffalo Ranch fish casserole. But dude, it is amazing when you put ranch dressing on top of raw crappie and then bake it. It disappears and bakes into the fillet, and then you put, I'm not going to go through the whole thing now, but it's kind of the same thing as like juice, to where you end up with, it looks like lasagna or a casserole, but it's baked crappie. It's phenomenal.
I do have one more note that I have done before too, Frank, that I was telling you about the other day. I forgot. Instead of using olive oil kind of as your binder for the crappie on the half shell, I started using, I'm a big fan of it, the W sauce. If you guys haven't had that, it's incredible. It's like a big, it's like a bolder, thicker Worcestershire. I can't even say that word.
You did good.
Good,
the W sauce as the binder, just to kind of give it a bolder element to the to the
Yeah,
fish. and the flavor.
I'm Italian, man. I drink olive oil.
Okay, we'll stick to olive oil then. But if you like, if you like a bolder flavor, it kind of is kind of interesting. So
I don't think I showed either of you what I ended up actually finally catching for once in my life. I didn't tell you this, Frank.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
2 in 1 day.
Oh, that a boy. That's a real muskie. All right.
2 giant Leech Lake muskies. One on a minnow, one on a chatterbait.
Outstanding.
They're so freaking cool.
how long did it take you to get those in?
I'll tell you what. Once they realize that they're whipped, they kind of look at you and go, "All right, do what you got to do."
Yeah. Well,
It's the weirdest thing ever. I mean, they fight hard. It probably took 5-6 minutes on the spinning rod and probably a minute or 2 on the bait caster. But like, once they kind of come up by the side of the boat and they're like, "You got me," they don't really. Have you found that, Frank?
No, maybe those ones that you're catching. No, when I catch them, I bleed more than they do, because they don't stop. But I'm also crankbait fishing for them, and so when and they'll come jumping out of the water 6 feet high, and do all kinds of crazy stuff. It's so much fun.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I got one to jump.
All right. That is excellent. And I never ate a muskie, but I've eaten northern pike.
I think that's exceptionally frowned upon. I don't know. Those are apparently Leech Lake strain muskie, which they stock all over the country. That's why they have the spots on them and not the bars, and that's where the spots kind of originated.
Okay, so the ones with the bars are tiger muskies, and they're a cross.
Well, this is not a cross. This is like a leopard.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know. And then the true muskies, they'll have spots on them, but not as prevalent as the ones you have. You'll have a few spots on the rear section of the fish. Will be the real muskies, and then the ones you just showed, but they're cool. Like, I fish for them a lot for fun because I just love catching them. But like I said, every time I do, I bleed to death.
Yeah,
because
I mean, they're very spotty.
Yeah, that's nice, man. That's cool. Very cool.
Never caught one. I have never caught a pike until this year at the St. Jude, and I have a.
Dude, come down here, and I will get you muskies. And all we're gonna do is throw little crankbaits and bass tackle for them, and you'll lose your mind. I mean, it's a ball.
I'm in.
Yeah.
All right, Juice, I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'll
man.
give you a shout after this. I think I might be going fishing. So,
Okay.
Dude, thanks. Hey, send me that stuff, Juice. Or
Yeah,
call,
I'll text me your email. It's easier just to email this stuff out.
at Juice's Jigs at Jarrett Morrison. All he does is post, like I said, hair jigs, steak, and fish. So,
you guys have a great day. Thanks.
See you, my man. Thanks, dude.
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I had no choice. I needed that recipe because I got ideas. I got plans.
Mm-hmm. He does a good job with it too. It's phenomenal. Do you have a smoker?
No, but I could cheat it on my grill.
Dude, we gotta get you a smoker, Frank.
I could cheat it on my grill.
I know, but you only get one crack at this life, and to live it as many years as you have without a quality smoker is a crime against humanity.
Dude, there's a lot of crimes against humanity.
You can get a nice quality pellet grill for not that much, and it will change your life. You need a sous vide and a pellet grill.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that I have to do that I have to get because I'm doing more and more cooking, but I don't mean I'm getting more and more into more extravagant type of cooking, and there is things that I'm missing that I need.
I feel like if you sell out, because there's only 100 patch hat Frank Scalish smallmouth bass signature series hats. I feel like if we sell out of those, that you're obligated to spend a portion of that, which it isn't much because we don't mark them up very much at all. But we do mark them up. You do make some money off of it.
Well, yeah.
I think that should go towards a smoker. Just the hat, not the shirt, not the hoodies or long sleeve
So-
or anything.
so
but I think the hat money should go towards a quality smoker. We can see what we can do to maybe get you one if we try to work it into some future shows. My God, we lost Frank again. And we're an hour and 20 minutes in, and we were about to wrap it up. So now the conundrum works is either I wait. You know what? We're just going to wrap the show up. We're an hour and 20 minutes in. It was great. I'm actually kind of back in studio now for the next month or two. In September, Frank, it's actually cool to talk more about it, is headed to the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame to attend it, to watch the inductions this year. So big shout out to Juice for coming on and giving his recipe. And I cannot wait to actually see how this Bassmaster Elite Series ends up. But cool to kind of open the show with Frank when he was talking about, in his mind, remembering when he was competing for that Angler of the Year. So this has been another edition of Day 4 with the man Frank SCALISH. Same time, same place next week. We'll talk to everyone then. See ya.